Hey friends, Mr. Producer here, and I wanted to let you know that registration for the Equip Expo 2022 is officially open. Brian has partnered with Equip to help save you 50%. That's right, not 10%, but 50% off registration. Now, if you want to support Brian and all of the amazing, helpful content that he puts out, this is a great way to do it. We'll be sharing more details as they come down the pike, but we can't wait to see you at the biggest green industry trade show of the year right there in Louisville, Kentucky, October the 19th through the 21st. Don't forget to register today with the link that's in the show notes and use the promo code BRIAN. That's BRIAN.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no-nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, guys, I'll tell you what, we get some great guests on the shows, and I'll tell you what, today is no different. We have a very special treat for us. We have none other than the president and CEO of the OPEI. We're joined by none other than Chris Kaiser. So, Chris, good morning. How you doing, brother?
Good morning, Brian. Good to be with you.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, we get a variety of different people, like I said earlier, Chris, on the show. And some of us are lawn and landscape business owners. Some folks work at the different companies. And then once in a while, we get a unicorn guest where you have probably one of the biggest perspectives and influences in the whole green industry. And you guys run the trade show that so many of us know and love, which is now rebranded as Equip Expo. So for real, thank you so much for taking time out of your calendar and your schedule. We're super excited to have you on the show today.
Oh, I appreciate it. Good to be with you.
Absolutely. So, well, we got a lot of things to talk about here and not a lot of time to do it. I'll tell you what, we want to talk about the Equip Expo event. So many of you guys have already been hearing the promotion for it, the ads for it. Of course, these guys have partnered up with us on the summer tour, which we're super excited about. A lot of you guys have heard the discount code promotion from many different people, ourselves included, to save you guys some money. We want to help you guys get to the show. So let's do this really quick. The elephant in the room, Chris. I'm going to let you talk about the trade show, the latest and greatest, and the what is it, the 12th or something like that, largest trade show in the country at this point. Is that right?
And 19, we're the 6th largest.
Oh my gosh! Holy cow!
Yeah, we're an annual event too. So we're one of the largest annual events. And right now, 2019 was our largest year ever. That's year we were number 6 in the nation, and I honestly think we're going to beat that this year.
Wow! So
we'll be another very large event here in Louisville.
So tell me a little bit more about Equip Expo for somebody who maybe hasn't been. What's the hoopla all about? What can we look forward to down there in Louisville?
Sure. It's the formerly the GIE Plus Expo. OPI went into full ownership of the organization, of the event this year, and we brought the management in-house. We used to have a third party manage it for 38 years. Mm-hmm. Long time. They retired, and so we brought a lot of that staff over here. We beefed up that staff, and we've decided, because OPI now owns it entirely, to invest in the show. So there's some structural elements, some education elements, some entertainment elements, and some physicality to the show. So the physical plant of the show, North Wing, South Wing, et cetera, we've redesigned that. So we want this now to be experiential. We want you to come to the show, have good flow, education, the event. We have an education center, event center. We've expanded the outdoor area. What we did a lot of feedback from attendees, and we know that the outdoor area is quite unique. It's unique to Louisville. It's unique to us as a show. That people want to get on the equipment, they want to test it, they want to drive it, they want to see what's available. And so we went to the KEC, and we've expanded it now. We've got almost 30 acres outdoors. That you'll see immediately. So now when you come through if you come through the main gates, you'll see stuff on the right, on the outer side of the ring road. Mm-hmm. So we've dramatically expanded the outdoor area. We've taken some green space right up against the building on the south side. So we've upgraded the entertainment. So, we have Trace Adkins. We've upgraded the speaker. Our keynoter is Dave Faraday. We've added the Friday breakfast. That's with Joel Sartore, the photo arc at National Geographic. And we have the big opening event, which we've never had historically, which is at the Louisville Slugger Field downtown.
Yeah.
So we have an opening event on Tuesday. So lots going on.
That's, you know what, and it's such a crazy, fun time down there. It's, and I don't know if Chris, if you can relate, but it went from, and I've only been coming to the show, mind you, for about 4 or 5 years. I did not even know it existed until I really kind of jumped into the social media world and heard some other friends promoting it on YouTube and Instagram and all, all that kind of stuff. But it used to be a come there for 2 days, maybe 2.5 days, kind of hang out, see the show, kind of in, kind of out, right? And the last 4 or 5 years, there's stuff to do before the show, Chris. There's things to do after the show. It's wild. It's turning into literally, I feel like you almost have to block off the week. And if you're not there Monday, Tuesday to jump into the festivities, I don't know. I have this like crazy case of FOMO. You know what I mean? So,
well, we appreciate everything you do. And this is how a lot of folks didn't know or don't know about it.
Right.
So we so much appreciate you talking about it and other influencers, et cetera, helping people understand what this event is to the business. And it's also a place to learn, to educate. We've got great new education partners, but the show is too big for a day or two.
Mm-hmm.
1,000 exhibits, 1.5 million square feet. You have to have comfortable shoes.
Right.
It's one of those. And nowadays we've got all this new battery stuff. We have some big new exhibitors this year that have never exhibited before, the names you know. But because they're like battery units, we're going to have people demoing Z's, joystick Z's inside.
Wow.
So now weather is less of an issue, but so part of it is to enjoy, take advantage. If you're going to take the time and money and come to Louisville, which we hope you do, then take an extra day or two and go to some of the edge, because we're partnering now with irrigation and outdoor lighting, pool and spa, as you know, hardscape.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the things for a landscape contractor or a hardscape contractor or people creating the outdoor space, there's something there for you. And we're creating education zones in there. So in addition to the events, plus we want you to have some fun, right? So we have some concerts, et cetera. But it's a good place to learn. And it used to be before, remember there was some education downtown and you were shuttling back and forth.
Right.
And,
yep.
They were positioning against show hours. Everything now is at the KEC. It's all designed to not interfere with show hours. It's designed for you to have get out there in the morning, you stay all day. We'll keep you fed. We'll keep you entertained. And then there's stuff to do at night. And so that's the plan, right? So we'll have an opening reception Tuesday. There's a big thing Friday, right? The show, we have longer hours. The outdoors is open all 3 days. We heard that as well. Open all 3 days. We want free parking, so the free parking is still there. And we're improving ingress egress. So we're creating a Lyft Uber zone in the back and a staging lot.
Yeah.
We want to improve the experience.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think that's something that you guys are doing a really, really good job at. And one of the reasons why is you guys are boots on the ground now. You guys, the OPEI, and yourself, even if I'm not mistaken, Chris, were in, the DC area, and you guys are like the governing, what would you say, body or board, if you will, for all the brands we know, like, and trust. And there was, I wouldn't say a disconnect, but here's where you guys are at now. Is last year you moved all the offices downtown to Louisville. So you guys are all in, right? So here's the cool thing. Last year, and Chris, maybe you can talk about this for a minute. I was one of the folks that was invited to come on down to the new office opening. And a lot of you guys know Evan or Chuck and a couple other great folks behind the scenes. You start naming one, you got to name them all, right, Chris? But there's so many great folks behind the scenes that put on this conference and event. And I'm telling you guys what, like, be proud of it. You guys should participate. Come on down, check this thing out. I always say you got to go at least once just to know what you're a part of. But when we're down there at the downtown Louisville, they had the brand new offices opened up, and they did this whole ribbon cutting ceremony. Chris, talk about that for a minute or two, because it is really cool to see what our industry and what we're all a part of, what you guys are doing and upgrading and investing into the industry and the community.
OPI is 70 years young. This trade show is 40 years old.
Wow. Wow.
And it's still growing. It means it's relevant. We're on point. We're doing what obviously the exhibitors want. We're doing what the attendees want. We're obviously it's a business media. This is a private show. This is not a public show. We're still drawing 25,000 people here to a business show. Because work gets done. People learn things. People, a lot of peer-to-peer stuff, and there's opportunities to do that. But you're exactly right. OPI went all in. We own the show, and we opened offices here. We brought the management staff in-house here. They're now OPEI employees. We've upped the staff. We've added staff. We've added sales. We've added influencers. Evan's here full time. And we've begun to integrate the staff. So we still have a Washington, D.C. presence, right? We interface with Congress and EPA and all that sort of thing. But part of it's representing the business writ large. What are Toros and John Deere's and Aaron's and, everybody, their interests and our foundation, our foundation, Turf Mud Foundation, has now reached 70 million kids.
Wow.
With this wonderful little program that just took off. And so and that's part of that relationship with the Kentucky Humane Society. So we had so much going on here in Louisville. When people understand a trade show, putting together a show of our size is year round, whether it's buses and hotels and events and planning, it is year round.
Oh yeah.
We do all our own in-house materials production. Our magazine, Equip Magazine, we hope you get it and see it. We hope your listeners get it and see it. If not, send us an email or address and we'll send it to you. But the Equip Magazine is the printers as we speak. Fantastic new doc. It's the old Show Insider Plus magazine. We're doing a lot, and we're doing that in-house with our own folks. We know this industry. We know this business. And so, yes, we opened an office here. It's a trade association office. And so we have open offices for our member companies. When John Deere's in town, come here. So-and-so's in town, come here. So we have big lounge areas. We've got a big conference area. We have space for folks to come. And so we want to entertain you and others and influencers during the course of the show. The other thing we're doing, remember, because we're a trade association, we're a standards development organization. We develop safety standards for the equipment. ISO, International Standards Organization, we're going to have a bunch of Europeans here and a bunch of global folks here this year because we're starting ISO meetings in conjunction with the show. So we want to multi-platform it. Oh, one more, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
We also, as you know, the foundation, we do some work on television. We sponsor Lucky Dog, CBS, Saturday mornings in the education space. And we did some work with Mission Unstoppable in the tree space with those tree climbing women that we have in Freedom Hall. We're doing that this year, and we're filming episodes of those television shows at Expo this year as if we didn't have enough going on. So crews are coming out from Los Angeles. We'll be filming some Lucky Dog stuff. We'll be doing some stuff at Mud Madness. So it's going to be a dynamic year.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And, and that's one of the things that I love most about the show is you never know who you're going to bump into and all the different people you get to network with. And there's a friend of ours, Keith Kalfas, he says, you get in where you fit in. And, there's so much happening at Equip that whole week where you're like, well, I just wanted to walk the from the minimum, you just want to walk the trade show, kick tires, look at new equipment. That's awesome. Come on down and do that. If you want to get involved in different, events or outings or organizations, there's so much to do that and do there as well. I'll give you a personal funny story, Chris. When we were there for the ribbon cutting ceremony, I was walking through there with a friend of mine, Caleb and Brittany, and my wife, Liz, and then another friend of ours, Paul. A lot of my friends that listen to the show, they know our friend Paul. And we were in an elevator, and we get out, and we're just kind of hobnobbing with, all the different corporate folks. There's a lot of people there dressed nice, and they're off, to the nines. And it was funny because my friend Paul, he's a fish out of water. He's from Ohio, Chris, so it's kind of funny. He's a little bit more of a country boy, if you will. And he was just hobnobbing with the all the different presidents of companies and the CEOs, and we were talking to who's the president of Echo, I think, or at least I think North America.
Tim Dorsey.
Yes, so we see Tim there, and so Paul goes up to to this gentleman Tim, and Paul's like, "Hey, so you new here and first time?" And so we watch this literally happen, and the guy kind of looks at Paul and he goes, I'm the president of Echo North America. And Paul said, of course you are, and walked away feeling like a complete moron. But any which way, he comes back and goes, that's the president of Echo? And I'm like, no, but thanks for blowing that one for all of us influencers, right? And it was just a funny story. And then the same thing, I think in one of the elevators going up, we were hanging with Dan. Is it Dan Aarons? I think he's a board member. And where else do you get the opportunity to meet presidents of companies and people who founded these million and billion dollar companies? I think it's really, really cool to see the accessibility for a lot of these folks. You might have just seen. Sorry to interrupt. You might have just seen. We just had our annual meeting, right? We added 3 new board members, right? I did see that.
President, CEO, brand new 3 board members, brand new President, CEO of Briggs & Stratton, President, CEO of Stihl, and the president of the outdoor group, senior vice president at Stanley Black & Decker.
Yeah. Wow.
And as you just described, they come here, they meet here. So there'll be a board meeting, an executive committee meeting, a foundation meeting, is all in conjunction with Expo. And so as you're walking around in those booths of the names you've just described, it's the CEO of Briggs, it's Dan Aaron, it's the president of Echo. And it's every level. So you've got the executive level, you've got obviously the people that design the machines, that sell the machines, that know the machines, dealers, distributors, et cetera, right? Because we've got the dealer, we have a dealer set up, something for distributors, parts and accessories. It's where everybody's here. And so the other thing I want to mention before I forget, California is going to give us a huge challenge next year, right? You're not going to be able to sell engine equipment into the state. That just means a whole lot of battery stuff is coming to market fast. And so the only place to see it all and experience it all is at Expo. So there's a lot of I know of several brand new products that are going to be debuted this year.
Yes.
And they're significant battery commercial products.
Yes.
That will be in these booths indoors and out this year.
Yeah. I get to hobnob with some of those companies behind the scenes and, NDA, right? So I can't talk about any of it either, but I'll tell you what, if you guys, the brands you guys all know, like, use and trust, okay? Like, we're talking about those guys. They're bringing the heat. And I'm not usually a big battery proponent. I like handheld battery equipment, but some of the stuff that's starting to come out to the market and what I'm seeing behind the scenes, and I'm like, I'm a nobody. I get very, very limited access to some of this stuff or testing behind the scenes. For what I have been able to see from 1 or 2 different brands lately, I'm super excited about it. Okay, guys. So you got to come on down to the show. You got it from kicking tires to hanging late night to all the different after parties and I call them chalets and the different restaurants and bars that people rent out. Like, get to meet some of these folks. Get to network. Get to shake hands. These are the people that you guys are in business with, from the dealers to the manufacturers to the different people that are growing some of these larger companies. I mean, for crying out loud, there's times when I'm walking the show and you see, 7 guys walk by all in, khaki pants and, white dress shirts. And then you realize, like, that's the executive team for Brightview or something like that. And it's just crazy. There's everybody and their brother that's in the industry, from the smallest guy who's an owner operator to the billion-dollar companies. This is the place to go. This is your trade show. And we really, really, really want you guys to participate. We want you guys to come on down. And like I said, if you've never been, you got to come at least once. That's always my rule. All right, Chris. So, Chris, let me ask you this really quick. Okay, so we all know the trade show is going on, and that's where people think that's just huge indoor event, huge outdoor event. I want to talk about some of the auxiliary things that are going on at the same time. I have a note here that talk to me a little bit about the fun run, the Mulligan's fun run, the 5K, because quick funny story, Chris. My wife actually volunteered us for this. Okay, so I was actually on the phone with my friend Evan. He's my contact at Equip, and we get to work with Evan. Great individual, helps us help you guys get to the show and just coordinate things. Anyway, we're on the phone. We're in the car. It's on speaker, obviously, and we're driving down the road. Evan's just making sure that things are going well, and he goes, "Hey, by the way, are you guys doing the 5K fun run?" And I'm thinking to myself, Chris, that seems like an oxymoron to me, okay? Like, government worker, jumbo shrimp. Okay, let's keep going. No, I'm just having fun. But fun run, like, who runs for fun? That's just not in my vocabulary. Anyway, I'm thinking this thought in a billionth of a volt, right? And as soon as I'm, like, saying the words in my mind, there's no way we're doing this, my wife's in the back seat with the baby saying, "Absolutely, Evan. We can't wait to run. We're going to sign up. We would love to run this 5K." And the blood just draws from my face, Chris. And I'm thinking to myself, Liz, we don't run. We're not in shape people. We don't fun run. What are you talking about? And I look back at her and she gives me the 2 thumbs up, right? She's like smiling, gritting her teeth. She's like, "It's going to be great." And so anyway, I got basically 100 days or whatever it is to prepare for this thing. I don't think I've ran 3.1 miles or a 5K since middle school for the presidential fitness test back in the day, Chris. So what's the fun run? I want to talk a little bit more about that, because that's inspired with Mulligan and everything that you guys got going on.
It is, and I've added walk, so it's fun, run, and walk.
There you go.
Run it, and thankfully, like you said, it's 3 miles. It's easy, and actually, it's the venue is just, I don't know if you've done it yet. The Big 4, the walking pedestrian bridge across the Ohio River
No.
is spectacular.
Okay.
You can walk across the river, and you're not competing with cars. It's a pedestrian bridge, the old railroad trestle.
Okay.
And so they've created a big riverfront park. So parking there is easy, good lots. It's at a beautiful sort of riverfront park, and then there's the ramps up to the bridge, and it takes you over to Indiana. So you take the ramps down into Jeffersonville, Indiana, and the whole community's grown up over there as a result of that bridge. So you've got a whole bar, restaurant, hotel scene now in Jeffersonville, and they look back at Louisville, right? So it's a beautiful place to do it. Well, we know we're a morning crowd. We got a lot of folks up early anyway, and we do have some folks. I'm not one of them. That are athletic and they want to get up and they want to do some things and get energized. And remember, we tell our story from a dog's point of view. Our education space, the foundation, talks about it to kids. So we're in schools with this stuff.
Okay.
And so we tell from a dog's point of view, and that's got the whole Turf Mutt thing going. Turf Mutt was a real dog as this cartoon superhero, but there was a real character behind the superhero. And so it took, and we've reached 70 million kids. And so when our original Turf Mutt passed at 14. We now have Mutt Mulligan, who was adopted during Mutt Madness at Expo in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So, and she went to work on her first day. I adopted her at Expo, and her first pictures were shot on a Gravely Zero turn.
Hey, there you go.
And so we had her walk on the show floor an hour after she got adopted. But it's named for her, Mutt Mulligan, and it benefits the Kentucky Humane Society. We have this relationship with the Humane Society, and we give back to them, and they do Mutt Madness for us at lunchtime on Thursday in Freedom Hall, which we're doing, of course, again this year.
Okay.
And it just helps us in that relationship with dogs and dog rescue and humane. Again, we know the outdoors. Nobody knows your yard better than your dog. Is that all weaves together? And now we do the television, right? Lucky Dog. It's about a family with a home, and we help them get their yard created for an adoptive dog to unite with a family. And so it all plays together. And so it was a natural fit for us to name it after our beloved spokes dog, Mutt Mulligan. And we're going to have, again, it's going to be early Wednesday morning, but it's right off of downtown. Most of you could walk it from most of these hotels. It's right behind Slugger Field.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful place to walk across the river.
Now
I want to say one thing that you teed up in that the show, you can be two people and a pickup truck and a mower, or you can be Brightview, right? Everybody comes. Everybody's welcome. If you're starting a business, come. If you're thinking about a business, come. If you got a $5 million business, come. If you got a $50 million business, come. That it's the place to learn from the get-go. I've been coming 15 years, and I have people come up to me that met me when they were just starting out, right? They bought their first seed, they had a trailer, and now they have a big company.
Mm-hmm.
And they said it all started at Expo. And those are the stories we love to hear.
I love that. I mean, there's times when I go down there and not only are we looking at the equipment, but I think a great aspect, Chris, the last couple of years for sure is for whatever way, shape, or form, you guys are doing a great job building community down there. And from the influencers to the YouTube people to the Instagram people and all of that whole community that comes on down, I'm part of that group, to all the other folks that, like you said, have been coming to this thing for 10, 20, 30 years. They're, they have, grass in their veins, they're all in. This is their career. This is their choice. This is their business. This is their livelihood and their future, and even for their kids' future. Right. And you see all these different groups participating and enjoying themselves down there. Can you talk about the community aspect? And then also, I think that kind of parlays into what you guys are really noticing is that people want more education. And I think you guys are doing a whole revamp and rebranding. I've been talking to Chuck a little bit behind the scenes. You guys are really investing a lot into education because people are coming down there and yes, they want to look at the latest and greatest lawnmower, tractor, zero turn, handheld piece of equipment, right? But they also want to learn how to grow a successful business. And there's so many great folks in the industry that you guys can get on a stage and in front of a large audience. So talk to me a little bit about the community. Talk to me a little bit about the education, because I know you guys are putting a lot of emphasis on that this year.
We really are, but it's forming partnerships. We're not in the education business, but we know people who are, right? And so we want to offer the latest and greatest. We want this event to be meaningful and practical, that you come away with something you've learned that you can apply to your business. And so on the landscape side, we're partnering with Landscape Management. They know the landscape contractor community really well to have timely, topical education in that space. What do they need to know today? What's the latest tax thing today? What's the latest, et cetera. And so there's that space. We don't, irrigation. Irrigation is key. A lot of landscape contractors in irrigation. We're working with the Irrigation Association. What's the latest information they have to know about technology and landscape and irrigation, et cetera? Same thing. A lot of landscape contractors are sort of doing pool and spa work, right? Because during COVID, you couldn't get a pool or spa, and landscape contractors in that space.
Yeah.
So pool and spa is doing some education stuff. Hardscape. A lot of landscape contractors are in hardscape. We have H&A co-locates with us. I mean, my God, they have literally hardscape house, outdoors, championship contests, lighting, you name it, it's there. If it's about the outdoors, if it's about creating that outdoor space, it's outdoor living, landscape, hardscape. If you're in that space or want to be in that space, tree care, a lot of landscape contractors to keep their people year-round, they're looking at other venues, whether it's Christmas tree lights, storage. How do we keep our business going? How do we keep our people employed, keep them on payroll?
Yeah.
And so I got to do year-round stuff. Well, we have all of that. So we have tree care. We cut down a giant tree, put it on a flatbed, drive it to Freedom Hall, put it in the world's largest tree stand, and teach in-tree training. So we make it real. We'll cut down a tree. We'll put you in a tree. We'll give you a machine outdoors. We'll give you a machine indoors. But we'll have practical training. This is a legit business exercise. I mean, I'm not anti-Las Vegas, but this is not a Las Vegas show.
Right.
People come here to learn. They come here to work. And we get a lot of families, right? And I know there's some sensitivity there. But if you've got younger people in your family or teenagers or what have you that are going to go into the business, this is a good place to have an experience with them, your boys and girls, to teach them about the business and just let them see the business. We have a partnership this year with a high school, a local high school. Their career and college counselor is now part of helping us put together how do we get kids that aren't going off to college into businesses, sound businesses. Think of all the businesses that are related to us. Mm-hmm. And so we're beginning that. We want to make sure we're able to show kids the value of being in this business.
I love it. I think that's really, really cool. And you know what? I can see that, by the way, and I'm not here to sell you guys or convince you guys to check out any of the education. What I will say is that the people that I know are going to the education and those opportunities, they're really enjoying it. I could give you a handful of guys that any of you listening to the show would know that have been on my podcast before, that we've interviewed, younger guys from 15, 18, 20 years old, that when I'm catching up with them at the show, I'm like, hey, have you been outside yet, or what booths have you visited? And they're like, no, not yet, but I've been to 2 different seminars for education. And that's a really interesting conversation to me, Chris, because a lot of the younger guys, they want to learn the how-tos. They're watching YouTube videos, they're watching people on Instagram and TikTok, but they're hungry for that knowledge. And I think you guys are doing a really, really good service by offering these educational opportunities. Quite honestly, there's a couple that I want to sign up for after you're talking about this, like the pool one, because I love water features, I love pools, I love spas, I want to learn more about that. I absolutely love lighting, outdoor lighting. I'd love to learn more about that. Even if I'm not going to necessarily install it personally, like in the immediate or the near future, it's just fun. It's just, I'm inquisitive like that. I love learning new things, right? So I'm really looking forward to that. By the way, outside of all the new stuff this year and all the new stuff last year, and I'm sure all the new stuff next year, right? Because that's how it works. I got to just give you guys a quick nod from last year. I know you guys put a lot of emphasis in the outdoor UTV track. That was so cool, Chris. I don't know who brainstormed that idea, but give that guy a cherry Jolly Rancher today, But whoever came up with that idea, or to put it on steroids, just a quick hats off to those people, because I was out there on Friday and I saw so many people that were just loving the outdoor UTV test track. Where do you get to go test drive, side-by-sides and UTVs from all the different brands? It's just not a thing usually. And so to see 10, 12 different brands that were represented there, from Bobcat to the Kawasaki, all the different brands, whatever they all are, it was a really unique experience to see something like that. That was just a quick takeaway that I saw from last year's show.
Appreciate it. I just saw John Deere and Polaris came in this year. They're new in addition to the ones you just described.
Oh, cool.
It's a little. We're adding some dirt. We're adding some turns. We're making some changes. It's back again this year, but as we are often want to do, we make it bigger and better.
Yeah.
And so it's back.
That's good. That's good. Well, hey, by the way, one quick piece of feedback though, we got to be able to take it over like 7 miles an hour this year. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just kidding. Last year they didn't have a lot of straightaways. That was the only feedback I got. They're like, yeah, it's really cool, but of course we're kind of just totting around, so we want to give it some gas. But I'm just having fun. Well, let's do this really quick. That's all I really want to maybe cover on this podcast episode. We might even be able to get you back on again before the show, and maybe get the last minutes. But we really do appreciate your time. I absolutely want to respect your calendar, so I'm putting a hard stop to the podcast for respect out of your calendar. But let me ask you this: while we got you for the last 2 minutes here, anything that's something that you want to talk about, or something you're personally looking forward to, or whatever. Any last quick tips that you want to share with these guys before we button this thing up?
We want you people, if your folks are going to come, if you're going to take the time to come to this event, know it is, as you've described, it's real, it's substantive, it's multi-day. There's a lot. It's plan, right? Plan for it. Get that Equip magazine, look at the offerings, get your brochures, etc. Especially if you're a first timer. Is oftentimes we'll get people that come, oh, I didn't come long enough, or oh, I should have done this, or I should have done that, oh, I should have had comfortable shoes or a jacket.
Sure.
It's a big event, and there's a lot of opportunity. So think about the physicality of the show, right? North Wing, South Wing, East Hall, Freedom Hall. Plan how are you going to attack the beast, right? What education do you want? And get signed up. My golly, get your hotel room, get your plane ticket, get whatever it is you got to do to get here, but plan for it. There'll be 25,000, 30,000 people here to a private event. So plan for it and get comfortable, have some fun. So again, get some comfortable shoes. Know you're going to have an opportunity to get on the equipment. And we want you to take away something that can help your business, right? Something that you can take home, whether it's an interest in pool and spa or lighting or irrigation or tree care or simply a way not to run over the sprinkler heads.
Yeah.
Just that, right? So have a good time. We want to hear from you. I very much appreciate you calling and talking to us, but we learn from your feedback and others. Like you just said, hey, the UTV thing was great. Let's do that again. We'll do it again.
Yes.
We need free parking. You got free parking. So that's what we need to hear.
Yeah. My friend Paul Jameson, he buys the 12 for $12, dollar waters, the value pack at Costco. So he's very budget conscious, we'll just say, and he doesn't like paying for parking, Chris. So and I'm just kidding. You know Paul Jameson as well as I do.
No, it slows you at the gate, right? We had all these. You had those. Yes, I do know. You had those terrible lines. So it's like, hey, how do we kill these lines?
Yeah.
Because look, you're trying to move a lot of people in and out, and so we ate that. That's $70K.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah. So we pay the KEC, but this way we can get our people through the gates. You don't want to sit in line. I don't want to sit in line.
Right.
So there's free parking.
Well, I'll tell you what. We did a live event about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was this marriage conference thing we did in Nashville, Chris, and it was a whole nother story. But when we went down there, Paul Jameson actually came down, and I think you were on Paul's show here recently. And I told Paul, I said, yeah, man, parking's complimentary, and he's like, no, dude, it's all valet. I had to pay like $25-$50 a day, and I'm like, no, you just. I said, Paul, you just take your pass to the front desk, and by the way, you do have to pay for parking. It wasn't free, so I'm messing with Paul here, and I said, no, dude, you just take your pass to the front desk. They stamp it and they reimburse you. And he's like, are you kidding me? They're charging me $50 a day. And I said, that's ridiculous, Paul. I can't believe that. And he's like, I'm going to go talk to those jokers. And anyway, Jeremiah Jennings, if you're listening in, we pull a little prank on Paul. But Paul, the parking is free here in Louisville. Just so you know, Paul, it is $50 a night though in Nashville. I can't get you hooked up on that one. But
or the Omni Hotel or the Marriott Hotel may charge you for parking. But we won't.
There you go.
At the KEC.
That's funny. Well, there you go. And also, make sure you guys are parking in the right lanes. I don't want to see anybody get towed or any city parking tickets. Not that they would do that, but it is a city, and a lot of us live in the rural areas, so it's a little bit different dynamic when you're in a big city like that. But Chris, I'm telling you what, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a really, really good time. I love what you said about coming for the week and having a plan. Have a plan. Who do you want to see? What do you want to see? Why do you want to see it? What's your goals coming into this? What's your takeaways? Begin with the end in mind. I'll tell you what, if you just go and you just kind of go to mingle and you don't really have a plan, you snap your fingers and 3 days goes by like in a heartbeat. And so we want you to get the we want you to get the most out of the show. And I've just found, and I've heard from other people, by the way, this is why I can suggest this, is they said, get a plan and don't just think, oh, I'm just going to walk up and down. Like, no, you need a snack bag. You need a water. You need a good walking shoes. You need a plan, and don't just kind of linger and mingle. Although that's fun and cool, have an attack plan. You're spending money, good money to go to this thing. Get something out of it. That's always my suggestion. Get something out of it. Have some takeaways, and of course, bring a whole backpack full of, or let me say this, an empty backpack, because you'll go home with a full backpack of hats, shirts, swags, and freebies. I know so.
We have a retail store. There's a new. We're creating the Equip retail store.
Is that right?
So you come and you can buy some stuff. You have a sweatshirt, a long sleeve shirt, a hat, you name it.
Oh, as long as there's a giant foam finger, I'm good to go. You know what I'm saying? So
there you go. But you can see Trace Atkins for free, Dave Faraday for free. The kinds of things, we create that, we pay for that, so it's experiential. You can have a great time, see some fireworks at the Louisville Slugger on us. So there's entertainment, good speakers that you're not going to see someplace else. And that's what's unique about the show. Every year we want to bring something unique and different.
Amen to that. Well, let's do that. We'll leave it there because that's a great note. If you guys are listening in real time, October 18th through the 21st, that's Tuesday through Friday. The trade show is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can go to the website to get all the nitty-gritty details. If you want hotels, they have room blocks and discounted partnered hotels that you guys can link up with. But like Chris said, get your ticket now. We'll leave a link in the description. We've got it on our socials on Instagram and YouTube descriptions. Save you guys 50% for that. Don't procrastinate. That's what we're trying to tell you guys. Don't procrastinate. Don't sleep on it. Snap your fingers, and it's going to be October, and you're going to be like, oh my God, Equip is next week. I got to get a ticket. I got a hotel. And you know what? Hotels might be sold out, and tickets are going to be $40, $50, $80. And there's just no reason to spend extra money that you don't have to. All right. So plan ahead is the theme of the show. So, Chris, we super appreciate you having on. Thank you for serving the community. Thank you for serving the industry. I know you're the talking head, the voice behind the scenes. You get to do all the latest and greatest for the show. But you know what? You have a full calendar. You have a lot on your plate. We don't take it for granted. So thank you for everything you do for the industry. We just got to mention that real quick. From our few viewers, our fans, our followers, we just want to say a big thank you for everything that you do for the industry.
I appreciate it, but thank you for having me on. Appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you. Absolutely,
brother. All right, guys, we'll button up right here. We'll let Chris go. I want to respect his calendar and his time. But if you guys enjoyed this show, we really appreciate you guys listening in. Maybe leave us a quick 5-star rating and review. Don't forget to get you guys' Equip ticket, and you guys can save 50% off with that promo code Brian at their website. All right, guys, well, over and out from this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. We look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
Hey, guys, it's Ben at True Pro Lawn Works. I just wanted to take a minute to thank Brian and Lawntrepreneur Academy for putting together his residential and commercial service contracts. These have been a game changer for me and my clients in terms of management of expectations, responsibilities, and professional appearance. I get great client feedback about the clear presentation my business extends with these. There's no legalese, no jargon to translate, just clear expectations of both sides. It's plug and play and fully editable. If you're concerned about potential liability or unclear duties, or just want to stand out as a professional, then check out Brian's plug and play documents at LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.